What's going on, I have 20 more minutes in my Sunday, and that's because we rolled back, whatever you call it, roll back, scale back, spring back. I don't know. I don't know what they call it. Whatever it is called, we went back an hour. So now we are still on Sunday instead of Monday, which throws me off a little bit, but I don't care. 1 hour further away from being at work. That's all that matters. So now we are November 3, about to be November 4 tomorrow. And, excuse me, and I'm feeling pretty good. Now, change is inevitable. However, change does not usually happen like overnight. There are changes that do happen overnight. There are changes that you can't prepare for and that you can't expect. But I'm a person who pays attention to the things that happen around me and figure out which one of them are variables and which one of them are not. In other words, which one of them are things that I have control over and which one of them are things that I don't have control over. So, hi Lisa and hi Colleen. So, I made a live on Friday, I think, or Thursday or Friday. It was late last week, and I made a live after I ran. And when I make lives post run, those are just me giving some unfiltered thoughts about things that I am thinking after I run. And honestly, the most honest version of me for some reason is when I'm running. It's not, and when I say honest, I don't mean honest with y'all. I mean like the most honest with myself because I don't know anyone who has run, or even if you don't run, but if you have exercised, and not just when I say casual, when I say exercise, I don't mean just casually exercised where you're just like, oh, I'm gonna work up a little sweat or take a walk. Anything that was like physically strenuous to the point where you question why you're doing it, that type of exercise. When I do that, I usually have these epiphany type of moments. So I remember I was just on here and I was speaking. I don't watch back my lives for the most part, so this is just me recalling it a little bit. Um, I started to speak about the things that were going on in my life. And at the end, I started to feel angry at the end of my life, which is not something that usually happens. I don't you like even if I get on there angry, I was already angry when I got on there. Whereas in this case, I was not necessarily angry when I got on the live. I felt good when I got out there on the track. But then I felt angry as I started speaking about my day and about my life. And the reason why I started to feel angry is because I was talking about the fact that I've always had a very healthy separation in my mind of work and life. And what I mean by that is for my whole work life, which has been, close to 20 years, it's been more than 20 years, but my whole on the books work life I'm referring to, which is about 19 years going on 20. Um, People have been able to say things to me, or people have said things to me. You're not doing enough of this. You're not good at this. You're not producing this. You're not whatever. You're not good enough at this. Even dating back to, whoa, this car is, that was an extremely wide turn. Okay. I mean, I guess it's that time of night. Anyways, Even dating back to when I was at Sears, working at Sears in the men's department, and I remember this lady talking about the value of my life. Basically, she called me stupid because of the way that I folded the clothes. She's like, "Oh, I don't know how your mother could raise such a stupid child." Boss at that job said that to me over the way that I folded clothes in the job, and I'm like, okay. So basically, what I'm trying to say is, I have never attached enough value to things that I don't like doing and things that I don't want to do, to where you can have me sit there and argue about this stuff for no reason. Like, I'm not trying to say that I go into those settings and I'm just zen all the time and I never indulge in any of those things. I do. I have many times over the years. But it's just like there's not usually a carryover. You know how if you earn PTO in some companies and you don't use it for the year, it's like either you have two options with the company based on what their policy is. It's either you can carry over some or all of those earned hours into the next year, or it's like use it or lose it. Some companies are use it or lose it. If you don't use all your hours that you earned that year, you just don't get hours to use into the next year. So I'm saying that to say I was like that when it came to work issues generally. Like, yeah, I'm going to remember the work issues, but it's like the work issues matter until I punch the clock. Because I had it's like the same way that I talk about how I feel about if I was a reality TV show contestant. Yeah, all of that stuff is going to matter greatly while I'm competing. Or like when I used to play sports, I used to get in things with people. I remember this guy when we were playing basketball told me he wanted to fight me outside. Like, I was ready for the fight. We didn't end up fighting for real, but it mattered so much while we were in between those lines. And then when the game was over, I'm pretty sure we shook hands and then it was done. Like, it was nothing. Like, those kind of things used to happen to me all the time between the lines. Now, hi, chocolate. So I found myself now. The reason I said that I was angry at myself in that live that I'm talking about, because I said I was angry at myself, is because these things have carried over and bled into my real life. Because I don't consider that job or any job my real life. I consider that as something that I'm not going to say forced to do, but boy, would I not be doing that type of stuff if I could easily identify an alternative. So I'm not going to use the word forced. Let's just say I allowed something that I care about minimally, that I am doing just to make a living, bleed into my personal life, my mindset, to a point where it was just roll over into the next day. The frustration I felt for the day carried over into my evening, even if I was doing other things, even when I was covering Big Brother, even when I was going to the gym. Everything that I was doing outside of work was suffering because of me not being able to turn that ish off. So last week was an exceptionally good week for me. And it was just because of that. Because I said to myself, it's a known variable what they're going to do to me at work. It's known what these clients are going to say to me at work. It's known what my boss is going to do to me at work and say to me at work. I know the company structure. I know that there's just many things that I've talked about that just are gonna happen over and over and over. That I can't change that. Like I'm doing the best that I can do for myself in that regard. Like I advocate for myself. I write emails like I always talk about. I speak up in meetings. Like I do the things that I can do to impact change, but I'm going to have to continually do those things indefinitely until I'm just not there anymore. So that's a variable that I can pinpoint and put my finger on. Now, in terms of me, I had to realize that I needed to get away from focusing on those things for too many hours of my day. Like 8 hours is enough. 8 hours of it is enough. So I had to shut that off. What is this person blinking the lights at? Probably telling me my tail lights out. Nope. I don't know what they're blinking at me for. Anyways, what is happening over here? Ooh, it's an accident. All right. Professional compartmentalizer. This is the first time. Honestly, this is the first time I've ever found myself in this type of spot, because I just do not carry those things with me. Like, they'll get in this big serious meeting. All the numbers are not adding up. We're not making enough money. And I'm like, I'm not nobody's boss, and I don't get paid boss money. So I don't care if the numbers aren't adding up. I have a job today. I'm going to do the job the best I can. Like, if one day you're like, oh, the money's dried up and we don't have enough money for you, you're fired. Okay, I'll find another job. Like, jobs are a dime a dozen. I mean, I'm not trying to. I know there's people out there looking for jobs, but I must say I have gone the better part of the past almost 10 years now without going longer than 2 months without having an income. I'm my own worst enemy. Good to hear last week turned out to be empowering. So essentially, I also realized that part of the increased irritation and frustration was from not spending any time on my routine and decompressing. And when I say my routine, I developed a wellness routine that got me from a very dark place that I was in about 12 years ago. That routine included a lot of things. It included getting up and doing some meditation, breathing exercises. It involved music, playing music, listening to music. It involved some reading. It involved exercise, positive affirmations. There was just a big formula that I followed and did. And not that I'm saying I did those things every single day, all of those things every day, but I did at least some of those things each and every single day. So I got to this point of like, I'm working and then I'm getting angry from these stupid discussions that we're having. I'm getting angry from the way these clients are allowed to talk to me and how my boss, my manager, defends the clients and not me or any of my coworkers for that matter. And it's just like a big buildup and a big buildup and a big buildup. Then I was getting off work and I was ruminating on those things. I was like, this isn't right. This isn't fair. I'm so pissed about this. I'm so angry about this. Even if I was doing activities, those thoughts about those things, I was replaying the day in my head. I was replaying conversations. I was preparing for how I was going to have to defend myself the next day. Man, I hate to say it, but I was even, oh, they're telling me that I'm behind on my work. So I was even sitting up 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, weekends for free, completing that work that I didn't finish fast enough, allegedly, during the day. So, like this weekend, for an example, 4 o'clock hit because 4 o'clock is my time when I'm done. I work 8 to 4 unless I'm doing overtime. Unless I'm doing overtime, 4 o'clock, I now have just turned off the phone, turned off the computer. If there's a forest fire going on, it's not during my hours. Like my time is for me. It's not for. It's not even like thinking about anything that happens during those hours and I'm off the clock is like robbing me of joy for free. They're taking away my joy and my mental health for free when that happens. So, like, I've now gone back to a point of like, all right, something that Wes Bergman said that was unrelated to this, but he'll get a kick out of this. Matter of fact, after I get off this live, I'm gonna I'm gonna shoot him a message and tell him about this analogy because I know he'll like this one. I was watching his recap of the last challenge episode, and he was talking about how everybody gets so mad about like a Johnny Bananas or certain behaviors and actions of people that come on those shows. Why is this person acting like this? Why is this person being so ridiculous? Why is this person narcissistic? Because they're really expecting for some reason that people are not going to be that way on a television show competing for money, right? So, but he was just like, oh, I wish I remembered exactly how he said it. He said something to the effect of, if you go to the circus, um, you're gonna expect that a monkey is gonna fling poo at you. Something to that effect. I have to watch it again. I probably won't watch it again because I'm not gonna watch it just to find that. But I know he said that specific thing. I just can't remember exactly how he said it. But he was just like, you if you recognize that you're going into the circus, you're not going to have these expectations of the animals in the circus not to act like animals. So my point of recalling that is like, if I'm going into the circus, which is the job is the circus. I'm not going to go into the job and expect them not to act the way that they act and be the way that they are. It's a circus, it's a zoo. It's just the way that it's going to go. So I know that I'm going to go to the circus for 8 hours a day. Then I'm going to leave the circus. And then, I'm going to have my real life. And my real life is way, way more important than anything that they're talking to me about. Hi, Mary. The black screen is serving. Lisa's kids are always sick. I'm sorry, Lisa. Your kids, we need to get them some. You need to start making a. I need to get you some of my grandma's her remedy, um, ginger. Like she has like those juices that she makes for everything. We need some of those. I need to tell her to make like a year's supply, and then put them in those mason jars and send them over to your kids. Because we can't keep doing this. Could be needy because of a bad dream or an actual sore throat. We'll see how the rest of the night goes. They be throwing up, they be sick, flu bugs. Yeah, so I mean, I know that I'm going to entertain the clowns for 8 hours. And then from there, I'm going to shut it off and be like, until tomorrow, bye, y'all. And I've been doing that for the last week. And the way I can't even describe to you how much better that I have felt in doing that, because I'm done at the end of the day. Even when they're talking to me and saying things that are stupid, I'm like, okay, yeah, you're going to say your stupid thing. I'm going to have my response. Like, I am not internalizing everything you're saying. In fact, I don't even think most of what you're saying is good, true, accurate, anything like that. So you're going to say whatever you have to say, and I'm going to do whatever I do anyways. And we're not going to like each other. And that's going to be it. The day is going to be over, and I'm going to clock out. And unless you are somebody who I've, connected with outside of the lines, I'm not going to talk to you. We don't have each other's social media. Like, it's done for the day. Clients included. I hate how people are promoting. You know what I'm promoting? Prompting, I think you're trying to say. It doesn't even say promoting. I was just figuring out what that was. Prompting. Okay. For the most part, Angela is not, and good for her. I mean, here's the thing. I think that Angela was wrong with what she said, but I mean, I'm not for inauthentic apologies. I'm not like, oh, you have to apologize. You have to apologize. I got an apology for something at work, right? Something that was said to me at work. Which I might put in my member section. I'm starting to put more things in the member section. But just generically, something kind of disrespectful, or a disrespectful conversation was had with me at work. And then I had a higher up ask me how I was doing, or how I felt about said conversation. And I made it very clear that I felt like I was disrespected in that conversation. They said, oh, I'm going to fix this matter and address this matter. I got the most inauthentic apology from said person that I had ever received in my life. And can I say that I felt better from it? Maybe some people who like being able to force a power dynamic where you can make somebody do things because somebody higher up spoke to them and made them do it. It's like if you have a sibling and your sibling does something to you, they're not sorry about what they did to you. And then you go tell your mom or dad, and then your mom or dad goes to them and is like, how dare you do this to your sister or brother? Go tell them you're sorry and give them a hug. It's like, okay, they said they're sorry, but then when mom and dad aren't there, they're like, you little snitch. I'm not really sorry for that, and I'm gonna get you back for doing that. Like, that's really what it felt like. And it feels like that person is still trying to exact revenge on me in passive aggressive ways. So yeah, I'm not for. I think Angela was wrong. I think if they're talking about apologizing to Matt, I think she should apologize to Matt. But people can do what they want to do. If she doesn't feel like she did something wrong and she doesn't feel like Matt deserves an apology, don't apologize and just leave it where it's at. Not everybody has to be cool or friends. Oh yeah, sorry about that, by the way. Um, Thank you for the 13 months of membership. I appreciate that. Angela literally built Matt a brand with the crazy eyes. He's not hurt by it at all. Um, he's hurt by it because he told me he's hurt by it when I saw him. I mean, he was able to benefit from it financially and from a popularity standpoint. Yes. Like, it's something that was wrong that was done to him that flipped around. in his favor, but it was still wrong. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't need Angela's apology either, but yeah. Johnny is doing his job. Johnny is the ultimate showman. That's what he is. He's the ultimate showman. Like when I say he's the ultimate showman, he is a combination right now because he's adapted and adjusted. So at 42, he's a combination of what these new people try to do, which is branding, capitalizing on social media marketing and branding. He does all of that. But then he's also like a throwback too because he's also competitive and he plays mind games and manipulates people and does all the show aspects of it too. Like he wants to win and he wants to get the most airtime. And he often succeeds at this. And he probably gets one of the top 3 salaries just to be on the show. Hi, Palaver girl. I definitely need that concoction. I had to leave and come back. Just catching up. Matt should just forget about it. Did you see? Yeah, I saw her interview when she was basically like, I don't think that he really gave me an apology. And in fact, I think that he should apologize to me. I'm like, for what? She's still going to say that after watching it back? Like, I saw back the clip again about, not the clip of them talking, but the clip of her going in the hallway and saying that he aggressively verbally threatened her, and I'm like, he gave her a threat in a sense of like a game threat, like, if you do this, I don't think it's gonna work out well for you. But the way that she made it sound was like, oh, he's making an old lady feel scared, like that kind of a context, and I don't like that. Oh, by the way, the House of Villains 3 and 4, episodes 3 and 4 were way better than 1 and 2. Because I was looking at 1 and 2 and I'm like, this is boring. How are there so many personalities in the house and it's so boring? But it picked up. It picked up for 3 and 4. Yeah, that's funny. Julie was pushing back a little. Julie took the high road there. Yeah, so that's pretty much it for me. Like, I have learned to just, when I'm doing a job or when I'm doing like anything that I have to do, like work or even a side job or even sometimes this, because there were moments, even doing YouTube, there have been moments where things piss me off on YouTube. And it's like, uh, I have to be like, you know what? I'm kind of doing a job here as well. So I turn it off when I turn this off. Like when I'm on here, I'm on here. And then, there's a whole separate, I don't even know how to say this, but like when you get a channel and then once you build up a following on the channel, there's like, you're on the channel, and for you, at least for me anyways, all you're focused on is connecting with the people and putting out the content. And then from there, there's breakout groups. Like how at work, if you're on a Zoom meeting, you have like, okay, one person is leading this main meeting, and then people are like talking on the side, and people are messaging each other on the side, and people feel this way about this, and people feel that way about that. And you're sitting here and you're like, I wasn't even thinking about that. Because for me, like, it kind of reminded me of being a group moderator. I've mentioned this before, not maybe not so much on this channel, but on the other channel, I've mentioned it's like being a group moderator, which I did for about 5 years, where I come into the group, I lead the group, I brought the topics to the group, right? And then as I would bring the topics, people would have responses to things that I'm reading or saying, or questions or my opinions, and then they might say something like, Mark, I agree with this, or I don't agree with this. Fine. And then, I give my response, but then they're looking at me as the group moderator, like someone's sitting here like I'm offended by that. But they're not telling me they're offended, but they're offended. And then it's like carrying over and lingering on into the next group and the next group. Then one day I'm like, why are you so mad for? Then I was just like, you know what? And then I had to realize, you can only control you. And if people want to speak, resolve things, mention things that bother them, we can do that. If they don't, you just keep going about your merry way. Have you been able to monetize your videos? My channel is monetized. If you're talking about the other channel, I have basically almost stopped posting on there because I tried for a good 3 months or so, 4 months from the time they demonetized the channel to get it back monetized again. And I am nowhere close to reaching those requirements. So I decided, you know what? Let me just transplant everything. Well, not really, because I'm not taking the content that I had on that channel and moving it here. But what I'm saying is, I am now, as you can see, putting my life and mental health topics over on this channel because this channel is monetized. Now, does the channel make me significant amounts of money? Absolutely not. It does not. It always does in October. Thank y'all for that, because in October, it's my birthday month, and it also has happened to be the end of Big Brother for the last 3 years. So that happens to be a fairly profitable month for me. When I say fairly profitable, I mean like a few $100, but which is profitable for me based on historically what usually happens month to month. But aside from that, this doesn't make me anything. It's a wash. Actually, I want to take off the paid StreamYard that I do, but the only thing that scares me about doing that is that I have so much content stored in the StreamYard archives. And I had this other app where I had all these different videos that I had done over a course of years. And the month that I stopped paying for that storage, they deleted all my stuff. So I'd be so scared. I mean, they can't delete it from YouTube. What's on YouTube is on YouTube, but I have things on StreamYard that I never put on YouTube. It would take me a long time to go through all those things, but maybe I should, and then go back to the free version of StreamYard, because I don't have any major benefits to having a paid StreamYard, as a matter of fact. Episode 5 has aired already. How come I wasn't able to see that on my NBC app? That's weird. I guess they don't air it right away, because I looked at this on Friday. Yeah, Friday I saw episodes 1 to 4, and episode 5 was not on there. Unless I'm not remembering. Oh, I did see episode 5. So yeah. Okay, if that's the episode when the lady removed Wes from the block, then I did see episode 5. You can't be all crazy in the chat. It's not even that. It's not even the chat. It's like, what I'm trying to say is, I'm just on here talking. So as I'm speaking, people are in the chat feeling multiple things about whatever I'm saying. It could be good things, it could be bad things, but I don't know of these things. Sometimes I find out, and sometimes I have found out, and I choose not to say anything only because it's not like the way that I just feel in both this or in life in general. If you are the one that has the issue, you can bring it to me. You bring it to me, and then we can talk it out. But if you choose, like, you're not interested in bringing it to me, it means you're not looking for a resolution to the problem. So there's no point in chatting about it. I believe that most things can be solved with like a conversation, as I just resolved something very big on Friday at work. I believe it's resolved with an adult conversation. But if you don't want to talk about it and you just want to talk about me but not talk to me about the issue, then you didn't want it resolved. I can live with that. I can live with that. But from there, we are not going to really have any kind of authentic relationship from there. Because I told everyone I'm old school. I'm old school in the sense of um, I'm used to just hashing things out. You got a problem? Hey, let's talk about it. Does that mean that hashing it out is always going to resolve the issue? No. Sometimes you talk it out and things remain where they are, or you realize you're just not going to agree on whatever it is. But it's better to actually have the conversation, because then we can either say, you know what, you and I can go our separate ways and let's not stress this anymore. Or it's like, oh, we realize that we just had a simple disagreement, and simply speaking it out resolved it. Like I said, I had an amazingly productive conversation with one of these people. Remember, y'all, when I came on here last week and I said, oh, if these people ignore the problem that I presented at work, they're going to have to see me? It probably sounded like a threat when I said that, but it absolutely was not a threat. Nor did I mean it as any kind of a threat. It was quite literal when I said that. I meant it in a very literal sense of, you can ignore me on Teams and you can ignore me on Outlook. You can ignore me on the phone, but then we're going to be face to face, and then I'm going to force the issue, which I did. Everyone was trying to play the avoidance game, and I was like, nope, we're not avoiding this anymore. I don't know when the next time I'm going to see everybody in this setting, so let me just bring this problem to the table and see what we can get from it. And I think that the people that I spoke to were actually amazed that my conversation was so constructive and solution oriented, because that's the type of person that I am. I'm very solution oriented. If we can't come to a solution, fine. But I believe like 90% of the time we can, if we're honest about whatever the problem is. I'm enjoying the challenge. I mean, it's moving slowly. It's moving a little on the slow side. But I have especially particularly enjoyed the banana show, the Johnny Banana show, over the past, what, 2 weeks? 2 weeks, Bananas has been in full form. All right, I'm about to head off as well. Thanks everyone for joining. And I'll be covering the challenge again. By the way, I just started watching season 2 of The Trust. I called it The Trust because they've kind of made it like The Trust a little bit, but season 2 of The Mole. I just started watching season 2 of The Mole, and I love it so far. I'm halfway through the season. I could have finished the whole thing, but I am now starting to get back up early to get back in my early gym routine. That's part of my new fresh start for the month, is getting in my gym routine early before I do anything else. As my trainer said, make sure to commit the time to yourself first before you commit your time and energy to anybody else. So I'm kind of living by that mantra right now. And that's what I mean, it's still kind of late. It would have been 1:19 my time. Now it's like 12:19, now 12:20. But I'm going to be trying to go to bed a little on the earlier side, so I can get up on the earlier side and do my thing before I start servicing other people at my job. So thanks for joining me. Please make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and hit the notification bell to get notified of when I drop some more great content. And make sure to turn back your clocks if you have not already. Talk to y'all later.